Schneider's EcoStruxure Building Advisor was a winner in the Analytics and Management Software category for our Vision Awards winner this year. The demo titled Optimize Building Performance and Maintenance with Digital Twin Technology will be presented by Paul Whittingham, Global Business Development Director from Schneider Electric. So Paul, over to you.
Hi, thanks Laurie and team, and great to be on the call, sorry. So as an introduction, when we look at building maintenance, it's much more than just energy efficiency. We're evolving into looking at the overall building performance, particularly around operational efficiency. And with that in mind, looking at our key persona of facility managers, we see the needs around goals, but also balancing the challenges that our customers face today. Those goals being higher energy efficiency, looking at enhanced comfort, particularly around indoor air quality with the current pandemic challenges, but also maximising asset value and looking at maintenance strategies being executed within the building environment. However, the challenges still remain, that being that HVAC systems become more complex with their integration, constrained budgets, and also the global shortage of skills, essentially as our highly skilled engineers become retired in terms of their operation, but also looking at the younger generation and enhancing their experience using digital tools. The challenges in maintenance for HVAC are around tasks being more reactive than ever, dissatisfaction in comfort levels, and also looking at equipment failures and in terms of their expected age and premature failing of those. So when we look at maintenance services and their strategy, we see a huge evolution that Schneider Electric has embarked on with our services strategy. That being, we are seeing more and more need for moving to condition-based maintenance as opposed to reactive maintenance. And with acceleration of more remote operations based on the pandemic, when considering the welfare of our staff and how we deploy our engineers in the field, but also considering the welfare of our customers and how we interact on site from a face-to-face engagement. We will see examples of scheduled maintenance and how quickly planned maintenance can fall apart, and the introduction of technology with automated checks and enhancing human skills with technology really allows building operators to move into condition-based maintenance, but also start to look at the overall operational efficiency of buildings. And when we start to assess companies in terms of best in class using digital services, we're seeing operational efficiency improvements of 57%, 23% foster higher staff efficiency, which is a key metric when we look at productivity and welfare of staff. And then also looking at our maintenance and facility budgets and the return on investment around that. So if we look at an example in a day-to-day operation, you will see how Building Advisor starts to transform maintenance practices. So our typical planned maintenance schedule, you will see periodic checks scheduled in advance based on quarterly checks, semi-annual checks, or even monthly checks and annual checks based on the criticality of the assets and the checks that need to be carried out. And typically what happens from a customer's perspective and an operational perspective is we move into reactive maintenance as we start to react to critical issues on site, whether that's alarms from our building management or building automation systems, whether that's customer complaints, whether that's temperature, humidity or CO2, or whether that's reactive failures on site. And as we introduce technology and digital services such as Building Advisor, what we start to bring is insight to the building operation, and we start to schedule more proactive works and condition-based activity based on the condition of the assets. And this is then the movement from reactive works to a hybrid model of remote, automated and on-site checks, which then leaves time for our highly skilled engineers to focus on assets to improve energy efficiency, to ensure indoor air quality and comfort compliance, but also tackle the most critical assets from a maintenance schedule to maintain and operate the building's facilities. So how do we do this? A key part to our offer is around our digital twin and bringing automated fault detection and diagnostics. Known within the industry as advanced digital twin, we are bringing the assets and systems into the cloud, and we can start to analyze the performance of assets and the solutions around energy, comfort, and maintenance conditions, which then allows our customers and our service providers to prioritize key actions and works to be carried out. One of our key differentiators in the market is around our system being BMS agnostic. We can obviously connect to our Schneider Electric product lines, but we also have the capability to integrate to third-party BMS or BAS systems, such as Honeywell, Siemens, Tridium, Delta. So it really allows customers to have a campus enterprise-wide level of visibility through a single pane of glass. And as customers evolve more and more into operational efficiency, what you will also see is the capability to integrate to CMMS and IWMS platforms, where the opportunities to improve the condition-based information will then become part of the customer's workflow and how they deploy their resources to work and ultimately close out the tasks and improve the overall building performance. So with that in mind, what we would like to do is just give you a very brief demo of the platform, and then we will come back to the presentation to close out and ask any questions. So hopefully you can now see on my screen, this is the web page that represents Building Advisor Asset Health. And as a user, what you will have is the visibility of your building portfolio, depending where you are in the world. So this could be a region, a state, a country, or even the globe. And the idea is we color code the buildings. So you will see buildings which have poor performance in terms of faults, unavoidable costs, those which are average in performance, and those which are good in performance. So a red, amber, green category. So as a building owner or a facility manager, you can clearly see which buildings are performing well and which needs attention. For the users, we then provide a more visible breakdown of those issues, whether that's currency or a list of buildings with the highest faults and avoidable costs. But where the power of technology comes is with our automated fault detection and diagnostics through Building Advisor Asset Health. So automatically we can summarize the buildings, the mechanical equipment, and provide a detailed summary of the issues and opportunities we are finding with the operation of those assets and solutions. We calculate the avoidable costs, so the opportunity to optimize, and report on 3 key metrics, which is energy, comfort, and maintenance opportunities. And again, not forgetting the indoor air quality tags based on ASHRAE guidelines to really focus on return to work strategies, customer welfare, or employee welfare, whoever occupies those buildings. So just very briefly, we can go into one example, just to give you the level of detail that allows our facility managers and service providers take condition-based actions and improve the operational performance of the building. So in this case, we have the mechanical assets with a summary. As a user, you will be able then to see the building automation or building management system points that we are monitoring. So temperatures, status, occupancy, fan speeds, flow rates, so all the BMS data. And then the fault detection and diagnostics will start to provide problem statements, where possible calculating the energy wastage to a very high degree of accuracy using our digital twin. But more importantly, trying to suggest the possible causes to target actions for the field service engineers to take corrective actions and make the improvements on site. So you will see examples of simultaneous heating and cooling, issues with coils in terms of the valves, humidity in terms of below suggested minimum, and also control strategies. And for the engineering teams, you will then see all the graphical information such as temperatures, control modes, and then also the expected performance of the asset in terms of heating and cooling rates and the opportunity to optimize. So this is just one example, just to give you a snapshot of the power of the technology, which enables highly skilled resources to be more targeted with actions. So if we can just go back to the presentation. So in summary, how does this work? As we discussed earlier, what you will see is we have the ability to connect to multiple BMS systems. We're BMS agnostic. We're taking 5-minute data into the cloud and essentially using mathematical models, equipment schedules. It then allows us to carry out our digital twin analysis with the BMS data and then essentially provide you with the details around the diagnostics, the root cause analysis, and provide those statements on energy optimization, maintenance conditions, and comfort conditions around indoor air quality. So in summary, before we pause for any questions, Building Advisor Asset Health is a well-established digital offer, helping service providers move to condition-based strategies. You will see some statistics such as the number of buildings connected, 1,600, over 200,000 mechanical HVAC assets, and over $20 million of energy saved with our customer base today. Some of our key segments include, but not limited to, healthcare, commercial real estate and offices, and universities, where they have high levels of mechanical assets, achieving high energy savings, and more importantly, achieving their sustainability goals of electrical savings, carbon reporting, and ultimately improving their operational efficiency of their buildings. I'll now pause or take any questions.
Great, thanks, Paul. So opening up to questions, our first question is, since Building Advisor is a Schneider Electric product, does it require a Schneider Electric BMS to run it?
So that's a great question, Laurie. So we did cover elements of that in the presentation, but the simpler answer is no. One of our values is we are platform agnostic. So using the open protocols of BATnet, LON, OBIX, etc., we have the ability to connect to over 45 different BMS platforms and vendors, such as JCI, Honeywell, Delta, Tritium. And this really allows our customers with a blended BAS or BMS install base to get a single pane of glass and get a consistent view around their fault detection and diagnostics.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question, how do you calculate energy savings?
Yeah, so great question, Michael. So simply within our fault detection and diagnostics, we have mechanical schedules. So we have the ratings of the pumps, the flow rates, the size of the mechanical assets. We can also take metering data if it's down at asset level. And then essentially that data is compared against the sequence, the design of operation. And using our algorithms, we compare the expected control and the rates of flow, etc., compared to the actual. And then using that, we convert that into a kilowatt hour calculation, and then they apply the utility rates that we have stored for the customer. So it's a mixture of mechanical rating, metering data, and then our algorithms and mathematical models, which then present those savings.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Next, are you rules-based or supervised learning?
So I would say, Michael, we are rules-based, but in the way we compile those rules. So it is really around diagnostics. So it's not a simple rule of if X exceeds Y, you get Z. We use multiple rules, relationships of a digital twin, to actually come to those outcome-based decisions using a digital twin model. So the system will look into previous results in terms of how the systems are performing using historical data to try and come to those root cause analysis. But essentially, it's a blend of mathematical models, multiple rule-based diagnostics to present the information that you saw on the screen today.
Okay, thank you. Next, what type of integrations are available for CMMS or IWMS software we may already be using?
So it's a great question. So with the leverage of our work order APIs and our REST APIs, the integration is pretty much open to any CMMS or IWMS platform. So as an example, we have integration to Planon, which you may have seen in the media. So we have two-way communication between Planon Universe. We're also doing integration into likes of Corrigo. But essentially, if your IWMS platform supports a REST API, we then have solutions where we can provide two-way communication between both platforms. And the two-way communication is key to make sure the systems are aligned in data and provide the user with a single truth, whether that's in the IWMS platform or the Building Advisor platform.
Okay, great, thank you. And I think we have time for one last question. Is your Building Advisor analyst similar to Energy Star?
That's a good question. I don't have a direct comparison to Energy Star, but what I would say is it's a lot more than just energy monitoring and energy reporting. And again, we'd welcome to go into more detail with people who want to see that. But essentially, we're looking at mechanical assets, we're looking at indoor air quality, we're looking at mechanical issues such as sensor drift, calibration. So energy is one part, but I would say it's a much wider offer around indoor air quality, maintenance strategies, but also optimizing the energy consumption of those systems as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Paul. Any final thoughts for the audience before we move on to the next demo?
I would just say in summary that one of our key messages to the market is this is far more than just energy optimization. And it really starts with the operational efficiency and the overall maintenance strategy for our customers and service providers. We really see an opportunity to drive the impacts, but it's also a cultural change in how we deploy people, how we target actions, but ultimately affect the overall building performance. So we're here to support our customers, and we're seeing huge traction in the market.
Great, thank you, Paul.